we bucket information within our learning teams? We've got this big wall of discovery. How do we start to sort some of this stuff out? Within our community of human and organizational performance, there are a few kind of accepted buckets that we use. The good, the bad, and the ugly or scary. Now, I'll tend to add 2 more categories in there because I think that we need them. We need the great because we will discover the great as we do these learning teams. Stuff that's not just good, it's beyond good. Stuff that we probably not only want to share here on our site, stuff that we want to expand or grow here in our organization, but things that we probably want to scream from the mountaintops, things that we want to share with our industry, with our peers. Now, the other bucket that I'll tend to add is weird lives here, in case you don't know that. You will discover things that are weird, that are strange. You need a bit of an other bucket. The 3 main categories, these buckets that we tend to use, the good, the bad, the ugly, or the scary. The good is the stuff that we want to make sure continues to happen. At the very least, we want to maintain, and in a lot of ways, sometimes we want to grow or expand this good across our organization. Bad, those are those areas that are error intolerant. Things that are brittle, places where it's far easier to make a mistake, where it's far easier to get things wrong than it is to get things right. Rules that are hard to follow, processes that are hard to follow, equipment that doesn't work right. I really need and I can't get, and on and on and on and on. Ugly or the scary, that's critical risk. That's the stuff that maims and kills our employees. You can hear these in the conversations that we have during our learning teams. The good, it sounds like, yeah, when that thing's there, when we have these key ingredients, that looks like a good day. That makes for a really good day. When this is happening, this works really, really well. It might sound like innovation. It might sound like, yeah, that's how that thing was supposed to work, but we made it better. The bad sounds like that thing never works. I don't know why in the heck you make me. It's so stupid that we've got to. Every time I press that button, it's supposed to do that, but then it does that. It's like a 50-50 chance. I don't know what's going to happen. You got to try really, really hard to not get that wrong. Oh yeah, over there, if you get that even just slightly wrong, it's gonna not end well. And the ugly or the scary, it sounds like critical risk. It sounds sometimes like, hey, I almost died over there last Thursday. Sometimes it sounds like, yeah, that thing caught on fire a few times. We always manage to get it out. It's fine. Sometimes it's not as obvious. It sounds more like, oh, it gives me a little every time. We know it gives me a little bit of that shiver. And my hair on my arm stand up when I have to work with that thing or I have to do that thing. Sometimes it sounds like,
yeah, I gotta climb on top of that thing because there's some box up there that I gotta beat on with a hammer. And this process is super important. It can't not happen. So I've gotta get up there. I've gotta beat on that thing with a hammer. You're not supposed to really go up there. It's not designed for you to go up there. There's nowhere really for you to fall. You're not going to fall. Well, I mean, I guess you could fall. Probably not. But if you do fall, you die. You definitely die fall. But don't worry. We only have to do that. We only have to do that once or twice per shift.
As we get to our ideas for improvement with these buckets, with these categories of information, when we think about the good, we want to at least maintain the good. We don't always want to just spread it all over our organization. Sometimes we do. We want to grow that. We want to expand that. But at the very least, want to maintain the good. When we hear bad, that's when we go into improvement mode. How do we make things more error tolerant? How do we remove some of this brittleness? How do we make this just far easier? How do we make it easier for this to go right, harder for this to go wrong? And when we get to the ugly or scary, we think about life-saving controls. Safeguards, robust and error-tolerant life-saving controls and safeguards. Controls, they don't care if you make a mistake. You can still depend on them to save your life. Those kind of controls. Those are the 3 primary buckets that we find in all of this. The good, the bad, the ugly / scary, plus 2 bonuses that you will find from time to time. The great and the